upcoming EU referendum is fundamentally about sovereignty, the ability of Britain to make decisions about laws that apply to itself. That is at least what the Brexit campaigners say. For example, Boris Johnson, in the Leader in the Telegraph, in which he explained his decision to campaign to leave the European Union, said, and I quote, "This is what we mean by loss of sovereignty, the inability of people to kick out at elections the men and women who control their lives." Now, I would counter this by pointing out how much power the UK Parliament actually has within the EU. Like Denmark and Sweden and Hungary, for example, we have control of our own currency, which gives us much greater control over our general economic policy than countries in the Euro do. That's not the core of the argument around the sovereignty issue, however. The core of the argument is saying what seems like it should be obvious, the fact that in 2016, Britain does not and cannot have control over all the issues that it faces. Like, think about the serious problems that Britain faces in the medium to long term. Problems like dealing with an increasingly belligerent Russia that threatens the freedoms of countries on Europe's eastern frontier. Like dealing with international terrorist groups that mean to cause serious harm to our citizens, particularly in the capital cities of Europe. Problems like dealing with the effects of global warming and trying to develop renewable energy solutions. Problems like managing our economic structure so another great recession doesn't happen again. Problems with, like, upholding the challenges to democratic governance and human rights all over the world. There's simply no way that Britain can even attempt to do any of those things in a serious way single-handedly. We're going to have to negotiate with multiple countries and non-governmental organizations. We're going to have to work internationally to even try and get workable solutions. The institutions that make up the European Union, which, though I think everyone would agree they're far from perfect, have proved to be over the last 50 years good forums for doing things like that, for securing environmental protections and human rights and democratic governments for literally hundreds of millions of people. To put it simply, whilst one country might struggle to develop solutions to these huge, huge problems, a union of 27 countries, which represents some of the greatest economic powers in the world, it's going to stand a much better chance. In a globalized 21st century world, where problems like the refugee crisis are things that no one country can ever possibly be sovereign over, international cooperation is going to be vital if we want to do what's best for humanity going forward. Throwing that away over what seems like quite short-term concerns, well, that just seems like a waste. Thanks for watching, DFTBA.